I'm Stacy. He's Mike. We are so excited to be here. We're so excited just to be part of this amazing day. We're from Columbus, Ohio. All right. That's just for Buckeye fans. You guys, you'll get that one time. But Mike and I'm going to give him the mic for most of the time because he's got a lot to share. He is a massive recruiter. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to recruiting. He doesn't have a lot of patience for, sorry. Well, I mean, if you ever talk to Mike, and he'll talk through the training with you, but he's always like, recruit. He does, a lot of times people can take a person and walk them through the steps, and help them. But he often doesn't have the patience for that, so he'll talk to you about recruiting. But we have an exciting life. Network marketing has given us a lot of freedom. We don't do network marketing just to do network marketing. We do it because it gives us the life that we've always wanted. We homeschool our 3 kids. Actually, I homeschool our 3 kids. You do a little bit. About to start next week, but we're very involved with our church. If we're not at our church, we're at home answering phones and homeschooling our kids. You can find Mike at the gym or myself at the gym, and that's just what we like to do. And so I encourage anyone, if you are just looking at this as a hobby, you're not going to create that kind of life for yourself. You need to really take it serious and build this thing, and you can have that kind of life. So without further ado, I'll give the mic to Mike. Enjoy.
Big round of applause for my wife, Stacy. So how's everybody doing? You guys are fired up, right? Okay. I got to give you just a quick story on myself. What was funny was when I first got, you guys heard a little bit last night at dinner. Wasn't that a fantastic dinner they put on for us? That was awesome. I am really actually blown away at how well this event has been run for being the first event that Zurvita put together. I've been to first events before. They were very interesting to say the least. Is when I told you a little bit last night when I got to meet Mark, and I was pretty harsh with him and things like that. And what was kind of funny is when he'll call me, because I get this thing, and I'll tell you why in a second. Is he'll call and I'll see it on my caller ID that it's him, and I go, Ohio Stud here. And he goes, how's the humble leadership coming? So I'm working on it. So that's how he kind of talks. So it's pretty funny. How's the humble leadership? Is that a good impression of Mark? Yeah. Yeah, he's awesome. All kidding aside, because I have been just almost like a roast of the guy, poor guy. He's putting up with all this stuff and everything. But he's honestly the reason I'm standing here and the reason I jumped on board was the character of the man. I asked him some blunt questions that only a person of true character could have answered them the way I needed them answered. And that was really all I needed after that to really make a decision to dive right into this thing. So I just and then obviously it doesn't hurt that he's got a wife that that balances him out, obviously, that she's very sharp, and you can see when you combine the two that you've got something beyond special there that's going to take us to places we need to do. And before you give them a huge round of applause, in the Bible, you remember Moses? Anybody heard of that guy? Yeah, okay. It was important for the people to lift Moses up, and when they were lifting him up and praying for him and his leadership, the armies were continually winning. But when they stopped, what happened? They started to lose. So just as a tip for you, make sure you always edify them and do the best you can for them. Give them a round of applause. Yeah. All right. Question for you. What if in 5 minutes I could teach you exactly what you needed to do to be a millionaire in less than a year? Yeah, I thought that'd be kind of cool if I could figure that out too. But I can't, so I was just checking. I got a mic here, so I thought I'd just ask that question. Sorry, I wish it was that easy. One of the biggest reasons why I jumped into Zurvita was I was involved in a company called Excel Communications. It was the first network marketing company I ever, and I think I really do, I don't mind talking about other networking companies because I think most of us have cut our teeth in those areas, and that's what's gotten us to the point that we are able to get the success we have. You have to go through training ground and places like that to be very successful. And I watched guys in Excel make huge amounts of money, and I remember watching this guy give the first presentation network marketing. This was back in '95 when I joined. It was amazing. This guy was just terrible on stage. His presentation was the worst. It was terrible. It was so boring. And he took questions from the crowd, and I about ready to shoot myself. And all I sat there and thought was, if that guy can make some money in this thing, I know I got a shot. Right? That's really what I was thinking. And I ended up getting involved in that company. I jumped in, and I remember going to my dad, and I said, Dad, there's this company. We're going to be rich. It's huge. They got this thing called residential income. And he goes, you mean residual? I go, they got that too. It's amazing. It's the most awesome thing. And he had to explain to me what residual meant. I had never heard the word. I was 26 years old at the time, never heard the word residual. Didn't know how to have a clue. I go, what's residual? He goes, Elvis money. Huh? Yeah, it took him a while. It finally clicked. But I watched guys making obscene amounts of money in that thing. And here's what I want you to think about, okay? History repeats itself. And obviously, they designed this coding model, this compensation plan around that. But they enhanced it in areas that unless you were in Excel or some of these other coded models, you can't truly appreciate from a perspective that I can appreciate this. And understand that Excel at the time, became one of the fastest, if not the fastest growing company to hit $1 billion in sales without, believe it or not, there was a time, without the internet. You guys remember back that far? There wasn't an internet. People had to do this when you got an app. Copy for you, copy for me, and then you did to do this. And you put in your mailbox with the flag up. 7, 8 days later, you hope they got the app with the, oh yeah, I forgot you got to staple the check. Now, we have it in real time. Bang, 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 bang. This thing is going to the moon, okay? Yes. Now, here's what I'm going to do, because I got limited time and I'm going to make sure it's worth it to you, is I'm going to teach you how I did very well in the last company I was with. I recruited probably close to 250-some personals in that thing. And I got it. I get it. I've done everything you could possibly think of wrong times 10. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to cut your learning curve down. You're excited enough as it is, but why I want to come up here, or why I thank Mark and Tracy for inviting me to come up here, is to share with you some quick skills that you can walk out of here and use immediately to build your business. So everybody ready? You got a pen and paper? Write some of this stuff down. Yep? Okay. 5 quick steps. I kind of call it a system. I want you to write these 5 steps down, then I'm going to cover every one of them just briefly. Prospect, contact, present, follow up, and repeat. Prospect, contact, present, follow up, and repeat. Now, basically, here's the thing. Every one of us is on fire. A lot of people are new, and you get all excited, and you start talking to people, but what do you say to somebody? If Mike comes up to me, and Mike's just walking around, and he says, what's Zurvita? What do you do? Anybody ever got that feeling? Yeah. What do I say? Well, it's this electric company, and there's this gas thing, and they got coded stuff, and if you get residential income, and there's this thing that they just added a triple bonus fast card, that you get triple on this, and we got power and electric, and there's health, and if you get to, right? And Mike's like, whoa, 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 like he's talking about drinking out of a fire hose, right? I asked you what time it was, you didn't need to tell me how to build a watch. So you have to learn to stay short. Keep info bursts is what I call them. I call them info bursts. And I have a kind of a good thing that I use. I call it the elevator speech. It's something I just copied off somebody. But it's been really effective, and I'm going to just give you stories that'll write it down here. Now, with the elevator speech, it goes something like this. I did this a couple times, obviously. Somebody says, well, what's Zurvita? Okay, now here's what I want you to write down. Well, you know how Okay? Well, you know how. And then the second part I want you to write down is, well, what I do is, okay? Well, you know how. What I do is, and you got to remember too, is none of this with me is set in stone. I mean, I got ADHD for sure, and I do stuff on the fly all the time. I just understood the law of averages, and eventually I'd win. But here's how it happens. I'm on the I'm on the elevators. People jump on there. See Stacy's tag on there. This is Zurvita. What's Zurvita? You've got about 20. How long's the elevator ride, right? Here's what I said. I said, well, you know how a lot of people pay gas and electric bills? Yeah? Well, what I do is I show people how to make money on those. Pretty simple, right? Here's my card. How hard was that? Now, did I explain anything? No. Did I make a good contact? Yeah? Did I leave the door open for them to contact me or anything like that? Because you have to understand, you're not going to sign anybody up on the initial contact. The problem is people freak out when they're talking to people because they think, oh my gosh, if I don't get it all right in this first conversation, it's over. But you want to, it's like a giant Easter egg hunt. I remember being a little kid and Easter egg hunting? That's all this business is. You want an Easter egg hunt. And you have to also understand the law of averages. Not everybody's going to say yes. Here's something very important, okay? With the prospecting, it can be anybody. And I understand that there's leads and there's warm market and everything. I have strictly only always built warm market. And I'm going to give you the system that exactly how I built and I do my business to this day because it's been very effective. Are you ready? Okay. That was just a freebie on the elevator speech. What I do is I make a list of people. I don't care who they are necessarily. Obviously, I have an initial top 20 list of people I have to get on the phone with ASAP because I know they're sharp people, and eventually someone else is going to get them in the business if I don't. So I always have that, and that's the people I go after first. The rest of the people I leave on my list, but I don't prejudge them. It's very important. Don't ever walk up to me and say, well, this guy's going to be great. You can't tell the duds from the studs, zeros from the heroes the rest of your life. If we could, everybody have a little button on their chest, say, I'm your one. You know, and we just look for that guy. So don't do that. What I did, this is how exactly I built my business, this is how exactly I'm building now, and it's working and it's rocking. One, I understand the importance of not being the message, but only the messenger. Anybody ever heard of Jesus? Build a pretty good downline. Hasn't saturated it yet, by the way. Okay, but what he did is he got his message out. He said, whoever wants it can take it. You have to have that mentality if you want to make a lot of money in this. What I did is I made a list of people. I would make phone calls. I'll use Roger as an example right here. Phone rings, ring. Raj. Good. Hey, this is Mike Healy. Listen, I don't know if you remember me or not. It doesn't matter if he does or not. But let's say he says, it doesn't ring a bell. I say, Roger, you got a second? Listen, I know you're busy, and I'm not going to call you and bug you, but here's what I'd like to do. Do you mind? I was thinking of you. I came across something that I think you'd be really good at, or whatever pops in my head at the second. I said, do you mind if I send you an email? No problem. You know, because I didn't want to just spam you or anything like that. Do you mind if I send you? He'll say yes. I never have anybody tell me no, that I can't send him an email. And here's what happens is when I send him an email, I say this is what my dynamic email is. Roger, thanks for letting me send you this email. Watch this quick video. Watch this quick. Does the company have any videos right now? This thing is going to be so easy, it's not even, it's insane. Watch this quick video. I'll get back to you in 24 hours or less. Or here's my phone number. Thanks, Mike. Pretty tough, right? Here's what I did. I'm very consistent with doing that over and over and over. Now, when Roger says this, that's a great question, but it's like giving a haircut over the phone. Not going to work. It's in the video. It's 2 minutes of your life. Watch it. I'm very excited about it. Okay? Now, here's the thing. Roger, I know you're busy. I got to go. I hung up. Okay? I got him off the phone, even though I called him, and I'm done in less than 20 seconds. I made contact. Here's what I just did. I instantly made a contact, and now I'm going to write his name down on a piece of paper, and now I'm going to put there, I'm going to follow up with him in less than 24 hours, and I do that over and over in a day. If you want to make 6 figures a year, or 6 figures a month, the only difference between somebody that does and doesn't is the amount of people that hear the story. Period. Look around. Is anybody here different than the person next to them? Anybody here different than the person? Yeah, of course, right? But if you keep it simple to the point that you just have, you're consistent with numbers, bang, bang, bang. So when I'm prospecting, the contact is basically the quick phone call. 20 seconds, I am on and off the phone. All I'm trying to do is get my foot in the door, and I got him off the phone quick, but most importantly, I asked permission with excitement to send him an email to watch it. He's gonna feel the energy off my call when I called him, and he's gonna go, what in the heck is Healy all fired up about? That's curiosity. That's going to get him to click on there and play that video, right? And when he sees that, is it not rocket science that somebody would make sense to get paid every time somebody would pay a gas or electric bill? Yes or no? That's pretty cool, right? If they don't want to, is that person even got it going on mentally? I mean, really. I mean, come on. Present. Again, you want to learn how to just be the messenger, never the message. And here's why. People will only join you if they believe that they can do what you just did to get them in the business. People will only do what they just saw you do to get them in the business. Now here's the thing. I am all for meetings and home meetings and presentations. But usually a big meeting. Anybody ever had anybody invited to a meeting and didn't show up? 5 or 6 of you. Great. Honest people. You know why that happens? They don't know what they're looking at. They don't want to say no to you because they like you, but they're not saying no to the opportunity. They just don't get it. A meeting should confirm someone who's already seen information. They put in a group setting. They look around and go, okay, I'm not the only crazy guy here. I'm getting in with the rest of the crazy people. Right? But when you do that, when you have the website, so if you send somebody to a website, the objective should be getting people to view that presentation over and over and over and over and over and over. And you will weed through people and you will have more fun than you've ever had in networking. Because you're letting the story be told by the professional. And when people call me and say, how's that work? I don't know. Even though I could answer just about any question you could think of in networking. I say, I don't know. I know this guy. And learn to tell stories. When you're talking to people, after you follow up, because I said contact, present, follow up. Follow up is simply, I call you up, and here's the question I would ask Roger. Roger, hey, it's Mike Healy again. Now here's the thing, before he says hello. Roger's going to take my phone call, and you know why? Because the last conversation I had with him, I rushed him off the phone. He knows how quick that call was, right? He's not going to go, oh, geez, Healy's calling again. He's going to shoot this kid, right? How many times have I been telling him no, right? But when I was on and off the phone, he's going to say, I go, Roger, hey, Mike Healy again, how you doing? Listen, did you have a chance to see the website, video? Great. What did you like best? Hey, which thing? I don't want to know what he thinks. What did you like best? Guess what he's going to do? He's going to start telling me, what did you like best about that video? Front end. It doesn't matter, but you're getting him to talk about something positive that he wants to talk about. And when you're talking to somebody, here's the thing. You should always just ask questions. If all you do is learn how to ask questions, you'll win. And you'll win big. Because you don't want to confuse him with the facts. You don't want to confuse yourself with the facts. Say, man, that's a great question. I'll find somebody that knows that. And move on to the next one. Repeat. It's important to obviously repeat this process. This is not rocket science what we do. There are skills involved, okay? I'm trying to give you some bullet points that when you walk out of here, you can be effective with this. You have an incredible opportunity. You have an incredible tool that will do the work for you, pretty much. But you have to really decide that you're the one that's going to get the story in front of people. Right? The phone won't automatically call people for you, typically. Am I correct? And that's usually the hardest thing for somebody. Here's another point I wrote down. I want to make sure I have plenty of notes that I can cover. I polled in my last company, polled over 25 people that were making at least $1 million a year. And I asked them this one question when I went to a big leadership event. What is the number one thing that you attribute to your success? Pretty direct question, right? And then I wrote down the very first thing that came out of their mouth. And without question, not one of them said I used this tool, not one of them said I used this script, not one of them said I did this or this. Without question, every single one of them, the summary of what they all said was they were consistent. Okay? Here's something to write down. MDC, minimum daily contacts. Minimum daily contacts, MDC. You can create a six-figure income if you stick to MDCs. Some people, I heard a great story of a guy, he used to put 10 beans in his pocket. He put 10 beans in his pocket, and his objective was to get out every time he talked to somebody, every time he prospected somebody, every time he got somebody some information or just made contact about the opportunity, he took a bean out of his pocket. If he took a bean out of it and they were happy, great, he threw a bean away. If he took a bean out and they didn't want to do it, he threw a bean at him. Right? But he was consistent. All I did to build the business I had before, to build this thing, all the numbers he saw, guess what? It wasn't an accident. I was consistent. I knew that if I made this many times a call, how many have ever seen a game called baseball? Okay? This will encourage you. Did you know that if you're an overwhelming loser in baseball, you can get in the Hall of Fame? Isn't that encouraging? You can make millions of dollars. What I mean by that is when a batter gets up there and swings the bat, they give him every time he strikes out, they give him a point, an average, correct? It's called the law of averages. You know that if every time this guy gets up the plate, he swings, he may get on the base 3 times. That's going to the Hall of Fame, believe it or not. It's 300 batting average. So you can actually be an overwhelming loser. If you talk to 10 people and 7 of them said no, you should be encouraged. You're going to be rich. Because I'm pretty much not quite a loser, but I'm going to be rich. Right? And you can do it that way. And when you look at the facts that people right now in society are looking for a way to make money, yes? Yeah. I mean, wouldn't we say that every time you turn on the news these days, it's all doom and gloom? Yeah. Okay? This is an opportunity that can reach everybody. Now, I'm going to and then obviously the last thing I had, with the follow-up, I briefly mentioned it, follow-up is just basically having a conversation with somebody. Somebody will let you know if they're in or out. Don't try to beg people to get in, because if you beg them to get in, you're going to have to beg them to stay. You're just going to be the worst paid babysitter ever. Okay? I'm telling you, there's people I actually will not sign up. Believe it or not, there are people I will not sign up. I had a guy that told me he was going to be huge, he was going to make me all this money, and he started complaining about it, and I said, I am not signing you up. What? I go, dude, you got to find another sponsor, because you're wasting my time. And he was like, I was totally serious. I want to fight the guy later. He's a friend of mine. I'd punch him in the head. I'm kidding. Maybe not. Another thing, how'd you like to win every single time? Wouldn't you like to just come out ahead every time? Believe it or not, if you only focus on going after reps, every time, every single person you talk to, quit going after customers. Go after every single person as a rep, and the ones that say no will be your customer. If you lose, you win. If you win, you win bigger. That's how to look at it. Go after every single person as a rep, and if they say no, you will get them as a customer. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to kind of close up with this because I don't want to be the guy that went too long. Write this website down. faithlifenow.com. faithlifenow.com. is I joke around a lot, everything like that, but the guy that gave me the most inspiration in my life is my pastor, Gary Cassey. Guy's fantastic. When I was in the bar business before networking, I was a mess. I ended up going to that church about 10 years ago. Completely changed my life. He's got a lot of great free videos on there about how finances work. Because I want to kind of leave you with this. Is a lot of times when you're doing a business like this, you're going to watch top guys come across the stage. You're going to meet people making more money than you. The biggest thing that I see why people fail or don't get ahead is because a lot of times they got to work on some character issues inside of them. As to what Mark said last night, it was kind of neat because I was like, hey, I was going to say that. Is if you can't rejoice in someone else's success, you will never have success of your own. Okay? And, relax. I'm going to tell you what happened to Healy, real quick. I'm in church one day. I'm broke. I got no money coming in. I got an eviction notice with 2.5 kids coming. 2 kids, 2.5 out of an apartment complex. I'm listening. I've been hearing all these things, and I'm sitting there, and I finally just said to myself, I said, man, I'm tired of hearing my pastor talk about winning and prosperity. Blah, blah, blah. And during that same sermon, guess what he said? If you can't rejoice in other people's success, you'll never have any of your own. And I started, and he said, if you're not praising that person that did good and how good their accomplishments are, your heart's wrong in that issue. And I remember right after that, I was like, oh, man, that hurt. I was looking for a giant microscope on me. And it came down to I had personally had some hard issues going on about the success of these other people. Well, he got lucky. You don't know the seed, Mark and Tracy, Mark made $1 million a year. You don't know what he went through. You don't know the seed that all these top leaders already went through, that they've already sown, the hardships, the driving through the snow and up one hill and then still back another up a hill and all that stuff, right? Because you got to just check this out, because when you're going to get to a point in this, because obviously your founder's here, unless you're dumber than a box of rocks, you're not going to go out and work this thing. You're going to start making some money, and you got to teach your people the same thing, because you're going to be their example, and make sure you understand that this can be a win for everybody. We can all work on the same teams. Everybody can win together, right? So leaving you with this last quote, because this is my favorite quote. I've said it for years and years and years. It's by A.L. Williams, man, one of the greatest men ever alive. It says, do today what others won't, so you can live tomorrow like others can't. All right, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Hey man, wrap it up. Get some tips off that. It's a pretty simple business if you work it, right? All right.